This past week, I read a total of 10 volumes of manga, and I finished a novel that I had been reading for quite a while. I think it took me about a month to read it. I read it very, very slowly, and I just kind of wanted to talk about everything that I read. So starting off with my absolute favorite book that I read is this manga here, and it's called Shiokaze to Ryuu no Sumika. And the English that's written on the page is Sea Breeze and Dragon's Dwelling. Here's the cover. It is a beautiful, beautiful manga. The story is about a girl who, after losing her parents, moves to a town where dragon people, like this boy on the cover, are just walking amongst normal humans. And in this town, dragons are worshipped as gods. So where dragons are worshipped as gods by regular humans, where does that leave the dragon humans, who kind of are in between dragon status and human status? It's a great series. It's very, very fun. There's currently only one volume out, and the art is just beautiful. Little glimpse. So we have our main character at the bottom of the page here, and I'm assuming he's the love interest. There's no romance in this volume, but we see him, who is clearly a dragon. He has a tail. And it was fantastic. This was a 10 out of 10 for me. There's a little bit of mystery. There's a little bit of infighting. The dragons in this series are not all friendly with each other. Some are more powerful than others. I don't know the power system yet. That wasn't fully introduced in this volume. All I know is it's entertaining. I really enjoyed it. And then everything else that I read, I'm pretty sure, was a continuation. I'm trying to clear out my continuation TBR before I hit my starting TBR, which is very, very big. But I also read volume 2 of Kamisama Gakko no Ochikobore, or The Failure at God's School. This is volume 2, and I'm really surprised that I'm not hearing more people talk about this series specifically, because it kind of gave Kamisama Kiss vibes to me when I first started reading it. I will say this is a standout series. I don't think there's many series quite similar to it. And the overall premise is, in this world, there are what's known as gods. They're called Himiko I think they're called Himiko in this series. And Himiko are basically people with special powers. And when somebody realizes they have special powers, they go to the god school to learn how to use the powers, and then they graduate, they take an exam, and if they pass everything, they can become gods. And these gods live in shrines, and people worship them. Our main character, Nagi here, has a very powerful younger brother, but she was born seemingly with no power. And one day in the first volume, at the very beginning, so it's not a spoiler, in the first volume, she rescues a boy, and through her rescuing, it becomes apparent to a very powerful god that she is not powerless, even though she thinks she is. So the powerful god gives her a letter of recommendation to go to god school to learn her powers, which she does. But we still don't know anything about her powers. To everybody around her, she seems to be powerless still. However, it's clear she does have some kind of power. This series is technically it's a romantasy. However, volumes 1 and volume 2 so far, no romance. It feels very much slice of life. This is a very long series, thankfully, and it's being published in English too. So I would highly recommend it. Very, very good. It's a very feel-good story, even though there is a lot of mystery. There are some sad feelings in it, but overall, it's a very happy, it's exciting. I'm enjoying this a lot. Moving on to slightly darker tones, here is volume 2 of Kireina Kimi ni Korosaretai. This is a supernatural, technically BL Seinen story, so it's targeted towards older men versus anybody else. I'm not an older man, but I still really enjoyed it. This is a really good series. It's supernatural, and it tells the story of, this is our main character here on the cover. It tells the story of his kind of childhood friend. He's not they're not friends, but they were entangled in childhood, and he cannot stop thinking about the friend, in not the most sane terms. He's a little bit weird. The friend turns out to be not entirely human. He's very, very violent, and it just kind of tells the story of the crazy friend trying to manipulate our main character here into basically finding victims for him. And the crazy friend promises our main character here that if he can bring him enough victims, he will do him the favor of making him a victim as well. And my explanation may sound funny because, like, why would he do that? However, he, our main character here, is kind of battling internally with the fact that he really does want to be a victim of the childhood friend, but like he's embarrassed by it. Like he it sounds weird. It is a weird story. It's very strange. But the art is beautiful. I think you can tell who's who. This guy is clearly the not very human childhood friend. And this is our main character who's clearly being manipulated. But he knows he's being manipulated. Like, he fully knows it. He just can't bring himself to do anything about it. It's very, very entertaining. This was recommended by the author of Chainsaw Man, if that means anything to you. That's why I started reading it in the first place. But it's really good. It's very unique. If you want a horror that is unique, I would recommend giving this one a try. It can be like the tiniest bit upsetting because it is rather violent at times. However, I really enjoyed it. Next one is Hanahimeru Kimi no Meteor, Volume 2. This one does not have English, unfortunately. However, I do know a lot of the manga community, at least on my radar, is really obsessed with this one, and there's a good reason for it. It's fantastic. It is a vampire mystery romance. There's lots of longing, there's lots of sadness. It's like he was alone for X hundred amounts of years, and then he met her, and she's his savior, is kind of the overall vibe of it, at least in volumes 1 and 2. The art, again, beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And it's very good. I don't want to say too much about this one because I don't want to spoil it. And I feel like just about anything else I say about it will spoil it, unfortunately. It's good. If you like vampire romances, I would recommend this. There's nothing really, like, I don't know if strange is the word. There's nothing, like, taboo about this. So, like, some people, when you say vampire romance, they think, like, vampire night. There's no weird relationships in this. Our main character here is the sweetest sweetie pie. She's so kind. Everybody loves her. And our vampire, Lavi, was born. His parents opted to make him a vampire, and he's kind of forced into his role. So he kind of tries to stay away from humans, and she's the only one that was able to kind of break through his barriers and get close to him. No weirdness at all. The next one I read that I really enjoyed was Hana ni Kamiguse. This one also, unfortunately, no English, and I read volume 3. So I'm fully caught up on this one. It's fun. It has a lot of tropes that I like. We have the rich only daughter of a very, very rich family, very influential family, and the bodyguard that was hired, he has amnesia, so he doesn't know anything about himself. So she gives him a name and kind of gives him a purpose. He's rather, I would say he's like a Yankee character, kind of, in that he's very violent when needs be. So there's a lot of questions about his origins. And it's fun. It's a high school romance. I wouldn't say it's the most original one out there, but it has a bunch of tropes that I like, and I'm enjoying it. I like a good amnesia plotline, and the art is really pretty in this one as well. And then moving on to my, like, I enjoyed, but, like, it wasn't my favorite in the world. I finally finished Rosen Blood with the 5th volume, and this one does have English. I liked it, but I feel like the series moves more on, like, the art is gorgeous. It just runs on vibes. There's no, like, I feel like a lot of the plot lines were just kind of finished without any thought. Like, it's beautiful. And I think you need to be okay with not questioning the endings. You need to be able to just accept it and just go along for the ride. And thankfully I was able to do that. I enjoyed it, but, like, it left me with some questions. But it's over. My questions will never be answered. A lot of things were also just kind of very, very conveniently ended. Especially, I'm not going to spoil it, but one of the characters, their ending in specific was like, okay, like, I get it. Like, it was the easiest cop-out, but it's whatever. It's a nice series. It's pretty, and it's a vampire romance. I will say I feel like they forgive each other far too quickly. Far too quickly. A lot of the characters, in my opinion, do not deserve forgiveness for some of their actions. And it's just like, well, XYZ happened, and that's why they did that awful thing, so we can't fault them for it. Like, what? But yeah, if you want something beautiful that you can just vibe with, Rosen Blood is the one for you. I also read volume 2 of Nijuu to Seijuu. This one, it's okay. I've been looking for a good office romance, so I picked this one up. I got the first 3 volumes. This is volume 2. I don't like the art. And I feel mean saying that, but volume 1, I didn't like the body proportions. Volume 2, I still don't love all the body proportions, but what gets me is she's a 20-year-old. She's 20, and she's drawn like the littlest baby. And our male lead is drawn tiny head, huge body, but he's drawn to look like an adult. And like, you see them together, and it just bothers me. Like, he is older than her, but even then, I don't like how young she's portrayed, and it kind of is stopping me from enjoying the series as a whole. Because I do like the premise. He kind of teases her a lot, and she's inexperienced, so she gets flustered. That on its own, typically, I like that. But she's just drawn to be too young. I'm not enjoying this as much as I could be. So I hope in volume 3, I'm gonna read volume 3 and then decide if I'm finishing it or not. I hope in volume 3 she's aged up at least a little bit. I read volume 2 of Namaiki Zakari, or Cheeky Brat. This one does have an English, and this series is super duper long. I read volume 2. Volume 2 I didn't like as much as volume 1. I feel like, I don't know. I really do like this author's work, so I will be reading at least the first 4 volumes because I have them. I want to give it a good chance. However, the lack of communication and like the childish antics are just a little bit too much for me. Like in one of their other series, Spring, Storm, and Monster, there are communication problems and childish behaviors, but I find the characters a lot more likable, and I can kind of understand why they do what they do. I can see where they're coming from. In Cheeky Brat, I cannot. I understand she has issues because she was forced, like she was kind of parentified at a young age and forced to kind of hide emotions away. I understand why she's kind of having difficulties regulating herself. Him, I don't get. I don't understand. He hasn't been given a backstory as of volume 2, so I really don't understand why he does what he does. And it just bothers me. I need her to be able to regulate her emotions a little bit more because it is bothering me. Like, I understand the why, but even then it just kind of bugs me. So I don't know. I'm going to read the first 4 volumes and then see. This does have a basketball plot, and I'm not the biggest fan of sports stories in general, and that could be kind of swaying me into not enjoying it as much as I could be. Meh. I don't know. We'll see. This is a reread, and I read this one for the first time like 5 years ago, I think, at this point. And it's Nano ni Chigira-kun ga amasugiru, or And Yet You Are So Sweet. I read this first on the Kindle. I really, really liked it, so I bought the first 5 volumes physically, and I didn't like it as much the second time around. Our main character here, Maya, is her own worst enemy, and it gets really, really frustrating. I think it's because I'm reading more adult stories now that when I go back to the younger stories, so a lot of the things that didn't bug me at first are bugging me now. And specifically, the series started with them in a pretend relationship, or it started as a pretend crush, moved on to a pretend relationship. No, I'm all sorts of confused. It moved on to a pretend crush, and then pretend one-sided love, and then pretend relationship, something like that. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. It's a little bit messy. But so in this volume, they're pretend dating. And like, he's being so nice to her. He's giving her so many chances. And she's like Googling, what should a girlfriend do in the morning before she eats breakfast? What would a good girlfriend do before breakfast? Like things like that, where it's like, girl, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Because she's so inexperienced that she thinks she can't do anything without researching it first. And because of that, she gets nervous and then she acts strangely. And I just find it so frustrating. And I didn't at first, so I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I'm annoyed with the book. But I will be continuing because I have the first 6 volumes actually. I have the first 6 volumes, so I will be rereading them. I think I'm just in a little bit of a slump with this one because I loved it the first time around. So I'm going to take a teeny tiny break from this series and hopefully I'll start enjoying it again in the next volume because their relationship is very cute. And Chigita is a very nice pretend at this point boyfriend. I need Maya to stop Googling things. And then the last one that I read, I will be dropping. I'm not going to be continuing with this series, is Neechan no Tomodachi ga Uzai Banashi. And just, I found this one upsetting. Like, long story short, this, to me, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, just to me personally, I found this to be a very upsetting story. We have our main character here who's she's been battered quite a bit. And because of that, she'll stay with men who abuse her. And because of that, she says that she doesn't deserve to be with anybody who doesn't abuse her at this point. And it's just, I find it very upsetting, is all I'm gonna say. I find it upsetting. She deserves to be with somebody who treats her well. And this friend, the male lead, is the younger brother of her best friend. And their whole relationship, he would tell her, like, you are the most annoying person in the world. Like, stay away from me. Like, I hate you. Like, give me my sister back and leave forever, please. And then just all of a sudden one day, he tells her, like, by the way, I love you. And she's like, what? And, like, she's been physically abused by literally every man she's dated. And now this younger guy is coming who's, like, kind of emotionally abusing her by telling her he hates her every day. And she's trying to say, like, oh, but, like, you deserve somebody who's not been abused before. Like, I'm damaged goods. I don't like it. I find it upsetting. I'm not reading it anymore. And then in terms of novels, I finished the first in the Bridge Kingdom series. And I really liked this one until, like, the last, like, 16th, I would say. I really, really enjoyed this, but there were a few plot points where it was like, okay, like, this happened, so I know that will happen, and it's gonna kind of suck. And that's exactly what did happen. I liked the writing. I do feel like the romance could have been a little bit better because it was talked about as, like, enemies to lovers. It wasn't enemies to lovers. He loved her right from the very beginning. He knew she was gonna do what she did, and she did do what he thought she was gonna do. And just, I don't know. I found it a little bit disappointing. And, like, the very, very last page, how it ended, I was like, okay, like, great. Like, I know what's gonna happen in volume 2, and I don't know if I want to read it. But I loved the majority of it so much, so I'm a little bit upset. Like, the first chapter hooked me so bad. And then it just kind of, it let up at the very end. So I don't know. I do know this series is told, I think there's going to be 6 volumes total. And the first 2 are about one couple. The 3rd and 4th volumes are about a whole different couple. And then 5th and 6th are a whole different couple. So I don't know if I want to just kind of bite the bullet and read the entirety of the next volume. Because maybe I will love it. Because I do really like their writing style. And then give the second couple a try in volumes 3 and 4. I haven't decided yet. Because I do like all of the political stuff in this series. However, I don't like the romance. And it was it was my understanding that this was a romantasy book, not just a fantasy politics book. So I was hoping for a little bit more romance. So I don't know. I do have another novel that I will be reading in the meantime, which is this one. It is the novelization of Villains Are Destined to Die. I won this in the contest, and it's so beautiful. I'm so happy I got it. It isn't out yet, and I kind of want to start it before it comes out, because I feel like exclusive, because I want it. But yeah, that's everything I read this week. I only had, like, I complained about the Bridge Kingdom. I liked 99% of it. I just want more romance and less easily guessable plot holes. And then I read 10 volumes of manga.